Okay, we know that you might be sick of hearing about spooky good deals this Halloween weekend, but we've chosen this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to bring back one of our most popular specials. The WagerTalk Fill Your Cart is back. This Friday, October 29th, Saturday, October 30th, and Sunday, October 31st, you will get a 31% discount on everything you fit into your cart. Whether it's a daily package, a one-day all access, a 3, 7, or 30 package, a full season of college hoops, or a full 12 months from your favorite handicapper, you'll save 31% with coupon Halloween31. You can fill your goodie bag as many times as you want until the clock strikes midnight on Sunday. Finish off October with this ghostly good deal and fill your cart wisely.
Welcome, everybody, to Prop It Up. It is Friday, and Friday starts the weekend. We're here to help make your weekend a profitable one through the prop markets. We're going to jump right into fun stats. Then we're going to get into some segments about some NHL props, some NBA props, some Sunday morning secrets. And then we're going to pick 3 games and dissect those as far as prop wagers. Let's do some fun stats here real quick. Fun stat number 1, the Chiefs have only punted 12 times this season. Seattle, 38. So that Seattle offense is sputtering right along. Geno Smith has 71 pass attempts and has 3 touchdown passes. Justin Fields has 131 pass attempts and only has 2 touchdown passes. So Fields not getting it done. And finally, the Los Angeles Lakers franchise was 232-0 when leading by 25 points. I'm not saying it's Russell Westbrook's fault, but they are now 232-1 when leading by 25 points. That's what happens when Russell Westbrook comes to your team. All right, joining me as always, my fellow prop masters, Matt Josephs from sportsmemo.com, Andrew McInnis from WagerTalk.com. Matt, how's everything going for you this week in the prop market?
Not too bad. Last night went 2-1 with the Cardinals and Packers game. Thankfully, Aaron Rodgers went under his longest completion. By the way, your Chiefs punt stat, you don't need to punt when Patrick Mahomes is throwing arm punts. So therefore, you don't have to actually have a punter because he takes care of it for you. I know I could take shots at Patrick Mahomes because he's not playing well this year, but he will get better. But yeah, it's been going well, and the World Series continues, and we're getting ready for college basketball in a couple weeks. So the sports wheel keeps spinning.
Nice. Andrew McInnis for WagerTalk.com. Andrew, how's everything been going for you this week in the prop world?
Pretty good, Andy. Good to be here with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really happy I committed to doing NHL props during the season because I was kind of here or there with them and mainly doing them in the playoffs, like I kept on mentioning. And I'm excited for you to join me on these. We can start talking about them together, Andy. I know you've been doing some research with them, but it's been great. Noticing some trends early on. Now we're starting to see some coaches kind of narrow in on the lines and chemistry with their players, and that really helps me with my research. So I just aspire to kind of be the prop king in NHL, just like Matt dominated the K props this season in the MLB. So that's my goal here.
Nice, good work. All right, let's get right into it. Matt, I'm going to come to you first. I like this title, Sunday Morning Secrets. Secrets meaning you shouldn't tell anybody. And we're going to tell people. So give us some of your Sunday morning secrets because it's very important to understand this. I really like this topic.
Well, so, I mean, one of the things we've kind of hammered on this show, or at least I have tried to do, is when you want to take overs, you take them on Friday or Saturday. And when you want to take unders, you take them on Sunday and let the betting public bet the lines up. Well, a lot of the books on Sunday, a lot of times I'm thinking of DraftKings here, they put up these extra players on Sunday that they don't think will get a lot of action. Case in point, Andy and I have talked about Zay Jones, who for some reason the books don't really like. And of course, he only plays like 15, 20% of the snaps with the Raiders. So they'll hang at like a 4.5 receiving yards total. And, you sit there and you say, okay, you look at his statistics and everything, and you see the fact that when he does catch the ball, he does get a bunch of yards. And they kind of just casually drop this stuff on Sunday. So I know people like to get their bets in on Friday and Saturday, but if you go to your sports book and you look on Sunday, every once in a while there's a guy there that is a fringe guy, like the third wide receiver receiver, the fourth wide receiver, the third running back. And sometimes there's some value there. And that's also where you do the little Google searches and you look for coaching quotes and things like that. So you may get a lot of your props done on Friday and Saturday, but if you do some of your stuff on Sunday, check out some of these games and the extra names, because I think there's some value on betting some overs potentially on some of these guys who may not necessarily be starting wide receivers or running backs on their team.
The Sunday morning secret. The other thing, I don't know if this is a whole lot of a secret, but sometimes you get some bumps in lines based on injuries. Sometimes the lines are just not hammered completely into place where they should be. And the left tackle is out, or this kind of relatively unknown tight end is going to be out, but he was their blocking tight end. So now their normal tight end is going to have to move in and block more instead of receiving. So yeah, Sunday morning, there's a lot of little under the radar things. So great stuff, Matt. Really, really important. And yes, the Zay Jones has been great. The Zay Jones, where they just kind of hang it there right at the end, is really good. So, Andrew, I'm going to come to you. You're going to talk about early NHL prop trends. We're a couple weeks into the NHL season. So talk to me. What do we have going with some of these props that are taking place in the NHL?
Well, I'll say first and foremost about just anytime goal scoring. That stuff's happening early on with the top lines. So right now, out the gate, you aren't getting that great value with the depth guys you might want to get. So if you're waiting to get some of these great value plays in the plus 300s or late plus 200s, might not be the time just yet. I feel like at the end of the season, the top guys usually get the ball rolling. And then once the season's kind of settled in, you start seeing the guys down the depth chart get scoring. What I wanted to mention, Andy, just for this segment alone, was defensemen. People love talking about forwards, the guys that make all the fancy plays, the exciting plays. They're the guys you find on the highlight reel. Defensemen, they get lots of shots on goal. They're involved in lots of plays. And the highly skilled defensemen are out there on the power plays as well. Aaron Ekblad, in all games but one so far for the undefeated Florida Panthers, has gone over his 2.5 shots on goal. We've seen all kinds of guys like Cale Makar from the Colorado Avalanche continue to jump into the rush, almost play like a fourth forward. And what's so great now about these websites that are offering NHL props is that you can bet on assists. So not just to get a point, but specifically narrowing down to get an assist, because defensemen don't score that much, but they get assists quite a bit. So instead of taking them at, minus 140, 160 to get a point, you can take these guys at plus 110, plus 115, a number like that, to get an assist. And I see a lot of these top tier defensemen right now finding themselves in the stat sheet, getting involved, jumping into the rush. And especially when you're playing against really fast paced teams, you rely on your defensemen to get pucks through to the net. And so I've noticed that quite a bit. It's been one thing I've noticed a lot. I think I've probably bet on more defensemen so far this year than I really ever have, Andy. And obviously we're only early on in this NHL season, but just a little tidbit for some people to look out for. Don't be afraid to get some props going with these defensemen.
Nice, good stuff on the NHL markets and the prop trends. I want to touch on NBA for a little bit before we get into the meat of the action with NHL. So NBA props the first week. It's funny, Joe Ranieri was talking to us before we went live here just about how quick some of these games are going because there's way less calls and you're seeing a lot of unders. I think he said 65% of these games are going to the under, which I've noticed. And in the prop markets, there are some unders on some of these point totals on guys that normally go over. So I would keep an eye on those. The biggest thing for me that's been a game changer for NBA props is every book now has that category of rebounds and assists. It used to be just FanDuel had it, but now every market has. And there's been some guys that are really good. Guys like Cole Anthony on the Orlando Magic, who he has really, really found his role on this team, and he's very active, and he's been an over machine on the rebounds and assists. Jimmy Butler looks refreshed. He's playing at an all-star level. You can still get a few more days out of his overs. Bam Adebayo at the same time. Look at some of his rebounding props over. And then I've been having a lot of luck with the Spurs, believe it or not. DeJounte Murray is playing really well, and he's absorbing most of the stats, which doesn't leave a whole lot for anyone else. So that and the Lakers, when the Lakers are healthy, they always win the first quarter. And when the Knicks are healthy, they always win the first half. So that's a couple trends on the NBA. So it's very strange.
I love how simple you made that sound, Andy. You're like, yeah, so when they're healthy, this happens. And the Knicks, sounds easy enough to me. Sounds good.
They do. The Knicks are a first half covering machine, and the Lakers, they always win the first quarter and then lose the second quarter. When all healthy, just take them in the first and go against them in the second. You double up. It happens all the time. So, all right, Matt, I'm going to come to you. Tell us what you got on tap for this weekend.
Well, it's just another, as I said, spin of the wheel in the sports world. There will be a full college football package up on Saturday with some team totals and everything like that. And then, of course, on Sunday, props and NFL things galore. There's just a couple of baseball games left. We're still being selective on the K-props here. Thankfully, laid off a couple that I did not play in Game 2. And, of course, there was a couple overs. So we'll find our spots and see if there's anything going on there. And then, as I said, college basketball starting up in less than 2 weeks, and we'll certainly dive into that as well.
Andrew, what do you got for us this weekend?
Yeah, CFL is late in the season. I haven't mentioned CFL as much on these shows I've been doing here with WagerTalk, but CFL late in the season, the game's starting to really mean something. So I'll have doubleheader action tonight in the CFL. I've got to play in both games tonight. Looking forward to that. Of course, a huge, massive slate always in the NHL on Saturdays. I've decided that, the bigger days like Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays will be the day I'll have the higher volume. The other days, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays is kind of going to be lower volume. Find that one play I really do like. As you know, Andy, we're always rocking with the UFC and the NFL prop package. You can always find it at WagerTalk.com.
Absolutely. I'm Andy from WagerTalk.com. Got a 5% NFL play up as well as the Week 8 package. We went 2-1 last night, so we're looking to extend that into another good winning weekend. Also want to bring up the promo code Halloween31. Gets you 31% off any package that you want to get. It's a really, really good deal. 31% off any package. I would highly recommend using this on a multi-day package. Don't use it on just like a one-day pass. Like actually get your money's worth out of it. So get like a multi-day, a 3-day, 7-day, 30-day pass and use the promo code Halloween31. Sorry if that was obvious advice, but you never know. Sometimes we need to be specific. All right, let's go over some.
Whatever you want, but you might as well. You might as well start there a little bit.
All right, let's get into some NFL games. Matt, let's go to you first. The Lions and your Eagles. Talk to us about the prop market.
Boy, I mean, I have to watch this game only because I'm a fan of one of these teams. But, I mean, I actually think that there could be plenty of fantasy gold in this game. I think that, look, the Detroit Lions offense hasn't been the issue here, per se. I mean, Jared Goff hasn't been great, but, I mean, they're moving the ball. They're scoring some points. And, they were up 10-0 on the Rams before they even had the ball. And you've got an Eagles team that's coming off a road trip to Las Vegas. They're taking on a winless team. There's not a lot of confidence there. It's a group that heard from their coach this week about potted plants and getting fertilized and watering and all sorts of stuff. I don't know, but I mean, I haven't seen it up yet. I looked on DraftKings. There's nothing involving DeAndre Swift, but DeAndre Swift's going to score. DeAndre Swift is going to probably go over his rushing and receiving. He's going to be busy. The Eagles struggle against running games. The Eagles, well, they struggle against pretty much everything. I don't know necessarily who the wide receiver is going to be to target here on the Detroit side, mostly because I don't know who the Detroit wide receivers are. I know it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Khalif Raymond. But, I mean, look, the Eagles' defense is there for the taking when it comes to this stuff. I also just saw Jared Goff to not throw an interception is at plus money. The Eagles don't force a lot of turnovers. I mean, it's just this is a bad defense all the way around. I don't know what their system actually is, so I think there might be a little bit of value on no INT for Jared Goff. And on the Eagles side, the Lions give up plenty of deep balls. Devonta Smith, Quez Watkins. I mean, I've been taking the over on Quez Watkins' his longest reception pretty much all season. He only gets like two or three catches a game, but one of them usually goes for long. I think he will against the Lions. There will be some deep shots taken by Jalen Hurts, and he will connect one. At least Dallas Goedert should be busy. So this game could be plenty of fantasy gold here. You just have to find the right players, DeAndre Swift and Quez Watkins, who could take advantage of it.
Nice. Eagles, one of the worst in the league at first half. They seem to always outscore themselves from the second half to the first half. So I've been finding some nice overs at halftime on Eagles games. Andrew, coming to you, Patriots and the Chargers. We got a really bad rush defense. We've got a rookie quarterback. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, and we can't forget what happened. December 6th of last year, we saw the Patriots defeat the Chargers 45-0. Absolutely a domination effect here from the Patriots. There's just a small chance, Andy, we might see a different result here in this game. Just a little bit of a chance here. We might see a different result than 45-0 in favor of the Patriots. Look, the first play I'm looking at is actually kind of contrary to what I've been looking at on the season, and I've mentioned Mac Jones. He's up there really high, 13th in pass plays per game, 6th ranked in overall pass attempts. All these passing stats work in his favor, but I really expect LA to control the field. I expect them to control possession quite a bit. We got some injuries as well to them. I'm looking at, or to the Patriots, I'm looking at under for Mac Jones, under his passing yards. I feel like for him right now, this might be a really, let down week after the explosion they had last week. And on the game in general, it just kind of looks like we've got one team in the Chargers that's off, one of their worst performances of the year. And then, well, it is their worst performance of the year. And then a Patriots team off an absolute domination where they took the Jets, put 54 points up on them. And, we got the number set at around, I think it's like 211, something like that. And it's about, I think, 10 to 15 yards over what he's going to get, what his average is for Mac Jones. I'm also looking at Keenan Allen over 6.5 receptions. We've got some injuries underneath from the Patriots, and I feel like the Patriots, they're going to get exposed. I don't feel like we're going to be able to see them go down through their secondary and stuff like that, but I feel like Keenan Allen is that perfect slot back, catch some 10, 15 yard plays, and that's where they'll get all their action. And as far as that Mac Jones under, I think that we're going to see a Chargers team look what happened last week and try and realize that they might not want to play this run and gun, throw the bombs down the field every single game. So, and you mentioned the run game, obviously, Andy, but I think it's going to slow down. I feel like the Patriots are going to have to try and look into utilize that. But for me, I've just isolated these two. I'm looking at also, you got to look at Herbert over 2.5 passing touchdowns in this one, especially after what we saw in last game. I feel like every single prop bettor is going to be on that for this week, just based on what he's done in the bounce back situation. But really like that Keenan Allen over 6.5 receptions, got that plus 100. I feel like the injuries underneath for the Patriots play a huge factor in that, and Allen will be heavily targeted. And as much as I've said everything about Mac Jones over pass attempts, Mac Jones over this, completions, yards, this time around, I'm going the other way. I'm on the under for Mac Jones on his passing yards. I feel like it's a real rough week here for the Patriots.
All right, good stuff on the Patriots and Chargers. Of course, I needed to take the Colts and Titans game. Had to speak up on this one. Just cut right to the chase. Just take Derrick Henry over the rushing yards. It's 102.5, which blows my mind. He always gets 100 yards against the Colts, like always. I think in his career he averages over 5 yards a carry. I wouldn't even really take him to score a touchdown. I would take him to score 2 touchdowns. I think you can probably get plus money on that. Here's a good one that's been hitting every week. Jonathan Taylor over 16.5 longest rush. He's gone over in 5 straight games. Tennessee can give up some big plays. We cashed that one last week, even in the bad weather. So Jonathan Taylor's been getting some of these big plays. I would look at him over 16.5 longest rush for the game. Quarterback-wise, you got Wentz and Tannehill. Wentz, believe it or not, has been playing decent. They did not credit him with an interception on that bizarre play last week, so he got a little lucky on that, which means he has not been throwing interceptions according to the stat sheet. So I don't know if I could recommend playing Carson Wentz under an interception. I would stay away from that. But I do kind of like the passing TDs. I got Carson Wentz over under 1.5 passing TDs. I think he could get there on this one. Jonathan Taylor could get in for one, but Pittman has been playing really well. Mo Alley Cox has really emerged as a red zone threat. So I would lean Carson Wentz to throw over 1.5 touchdowns if I'm taking a quarterback, but definitely take Jonathan Taylor over longest rush, Derrick Henry over. And I think they have the receptions for AJ Brown a little too high. They have it at 5.5. I would take the under on that one. There's really not anybody else that scares anybody in the secondary, so the Colts should be able to key in on him. So I'd lean under on some of the AJ Brown props on that one. So, all right, gentlemen, it is time for best bets. Let's give out some actionable infotainment. Matt, coming to you first. We're going to go to college, right? I like this. You got a team total in college. Talk to us.
Yeah, college football, we're going with this one. Remember, last week I talked about style points, and we're talking about style points once again. The first college football playoff ranking comes out this week, after this weekend, so teams are going to be trying at least early on trying to get style points, and especially this team. They're number 2 in the land, but there's a lot of people who want to poke holes in them. I'm going over 23.5 points for the Cincinnati Bearcats in the first half against Tulane, and it's a road game against Tulane. Cincinnati last week looked very ugly in their win against Navy. They can't afford to do that once again. If you look, Cincinnati is in the top 15, averaging 21-ish points in the first halves of their games. If you look at the other statistics, Tulane is 130th out of 130 teams, allowing 29.5 points per game per first half. They allowed 31 points in the first half of their last game, 26.3 in their last 3 games. I am going to take Cincinnati to come out style points in place, over 23.5 points in the first half on the road against Tulane on Saturday.
Well, Matt, every time you can go against the 130th ranked first half defense, I think you have to do it. It's a really good stat. Cincinnati over 23.5 points. Love it. Andrew, going to you. You got a good NHL prop for us. What you like?
Yeah, I kind of already spoiled it when I was talking about these NHL props, but I'm looking at a defenseman, and I'm looking at Aaron Ekblad of the Florida Panthers. This is actually for tonight, guys. I wanted to give some actionable info, like Andy mentioned, for tonight. Of course, you got some NFL stuff to cover, and Andy will be giving us a play as well. But I want to look at a guy that pretty much plays like a forward. He's a defenseman, but he doesn't act like one sometimes. He's someone that will jump into the rush on the power play. He gets more shots than a lot of forwards do. And he's someone that not only is just barely going over this total, some games he's getting 6 shots, 5 shots again. We're young in this season. The season is only just beginning, but I feel like this is a guy to keep your eye on, especially until they start changing this number. And from the way it seems to me, they aren't changing this number with defensemen, which is why I spoke about them earlier. But Aaron Ekblad over 2.5 shots on goal tonight against the Detroit Red Wings.
Good stuff. Money spends the same, whether you're getting an NBA prop, NHL prop, NFL prop. So awesome stuff, Andrew. I'm going back to one that's hit the last couple weeks, and I predicted this, and it's hit 2 in a row. Let's make it 3. I'm going to take Tua Tagovailoa over 235.5 passing yards. I mean, they've just been letting him air the ball out. And what I said, what I said was, if you're propping up the trade value of Tua, you got to let him air it out. And they've let him throw the ball 87 times the last 2 games for 620 total yards passing. This game, they're not going to be able to run. They're playing Buffalo. I mean, they're not even going to think of trying to run the ball. And this number 235.5 is way too low. Even if the game score-wise gets out of control, they're going to be throwing it. And even if they keep it close, they're going to have to do it by throwing. So this number is very, very low. I'll happily take the over in this one. Garbage time yards count the same, as I expect Buffalo to beat up on the Dolphins pretty good. But as long as Tua is you're involved in all those trade rumors with Deshaun Watson, the best thing that Miami can do is make Tua look good. So I expect a lot of overs on him. So let's recap. I've got Tua over 235.5 passing yards. Andrew McInnis going to the NHL. Aaron Ekblad over 2.5 shots on goal, and Matt Josephs taking Cincinnati over 23.5 first half points at Tulane. Great stuff. That is going to do it for us on Prop It Up. Thank you very much to Andrew McInnis from WagerTalk.com, Matt Josephs from SportsMemo.com. I am Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. Have a great weekend. Make it a profitable one, and we will see you next week on Prop It Up.
Okay, we know that you might be sick of hearing about spooky good deals this Halloween weekend, but we've chosen this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to bring back one of our most popular specials. The WagerTalk Fill Your Cart is back. This Friday, October 29th, Saturday, October 30th, and Sunday, October 31st, you will get a 31% discount on everything you fit into your cart. Whether it's a daily package, a one-day all access, a 3, 7, or 30 package, a full season of college hoops, or a full 12 months from your favorite handicapper, you'll save 31% with coupon Halloween31. You can fill your goodie bag as many times as you want until the clock strikes midnight on Sunday. Finish off October with this ghostly good deal and fill your cart wisely.